Hi there, this is Dennis Velco with OutBüro. You're listening to another episode of OutBüro Voices, where we have engaging conversations with LGBTQ professionals, entrepreneurs, and community leaders from around the world. And today we're being joined with Stephen Crawford. He's based in Arizona and is a business coach that focuses very heavily on the exit strategies. Wow. Now, are you an entrepreneur? Do you have an exit strategy? Well, stay tuned to listen in to all the important reasons and value and etc. as Stephen and I jump into that conversation. So, Stephen, I so much appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know it's first thing in your morning. So I do appreciate that. So if you could maybe start off and give us a little bit of information about your background. As I recall, you haven't been a business coach your whole career. So maybe give our audience a little bit of information about your background.
Sure. Well, I went to college for music, and I became a public school teacher, and I taught choral music, vocal and choral music, and I started a program from scratch it was a junior senior high school. And then I built a program from scratch to include many, many different types of vocal groups and eventually prize winning groups in competition. So I did that for about 7 years till I got tired. I love kids, but the administration was,
Yeah, I always hear that from teachers. It's like, I love the teaching if they could just take the politics out of it and all the administration.
Boy, it was, and about almost 50% of us left that year I left. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was the policies of the administration that were a problem. Anyway, that didn't matter. So then I went back home to Maryland where I grew up, and for a couple of years, and I kicked around and sang in some choral groups and worked with some really top-notch people, choral group-wise, Leonard Bernstein being among one of them. And that was quite an experience. Seiji Ozawa, Robert Shaw. And then I opened a private studio, came back to Connecticut where I was for over 30 years, and opened a vocal studio because my colleagues who were high school teachers, music teachers, said, we really need a really good voice teacher. Would you come back and open a voice studio? Which I did. So I did that for, I don't know, I guess it says 1982 to 20 years. And then I moved to Arizona because I couldn't stand the weather in Connecticut anymore. I'm not a cold weather guy.
I'm with you there. That's why I've moved back to my home state of Florida.
Absolutely. And so I moved back here and I moved here to Arizona and opened a vocal studio here after, I don't know, I kicked around for a couple of years and did some other things here. And, it wasn't the same. So opened a vocal studio and bang, it was extremely well received. And I built quite a reputation. But along the line, I've been an actor, singer, performer. I did a lot of music theater, classical concerts. So I'm kind of like the singing business coach, if you will. And then in 2005, I got my training as hypnotherapist, life coach, and Reiki master. Mm-hmm. And I've been doing that and business coaching really ever since. So no, I haven't been a business coach for all of that long, maybe 15 years. However, I've been some kind of coach for 40 years.
Yes. And, when you are, and in our previous dialogue, you didn't happen to mention it here. So I'd like our audience to know, you have numerous students who are in very prestigious organizations around the world.
Some of them are singing in opera houses in Europe. And one of mine that when I was in Connecticut got eventually got into Yale, which is a prestigious music program. Believe me, you don't just get in there. But I mean, the day he walked into my vocal studio, it was like, oh my God, you've got a world-class voice. And I would never say that to anyone unless I really believed it was true. So he eventually, at age 23, got hired as a, what do they call them, substitute or whatever, at the Metropolitan Opera in New York.
Wow.
And yeah, that was quite a thing for him. So yeah, a couple of people have done pretty well. One of my most recent students was in a film. He started a film. And then another student way from back in Connecticut, she became a casting director for HBO for their show Homeland. And she's been doing acting workshops all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah, so she's done very, very, very well. And, a lot of my students over the years have become at least appreciative of vocal art. And, they go and see musicals and whatever. And some of them are still, doing community theater or whatever. I mean, I am blessed to have had the opportunity to build these people into singers and performers and sit back and watch how well they've done. There's no greater gift than that.
Yeah, well, and I would like to correlate that to business coaching, because you really are. You're not only coaching them on the proper techniques and so forth to sing, just like in a business setting, helping business owners with the proper techniques and skills and everything that they need to do to run their business. Being an artist, you're also an entrepreneur. So I also am a hobbyist painter, but I have sold over 75% of everything I've created, a lot through interior designers. So even though it's a hobby, it's not something that I do all day, every day. There's still a business side to it. And when you are a singer, there is a business side. Now, unfortunately, a lot of the arts gets essentially discounted in a way, or, there's not the opportunities to make the money all the time in doing the arts. But it still is a business. It's a person's career. It's a person's, passion and desire. And so you were not only helping them, I'm sure, with the technical aspects of, singing and hitting the right notes and etc., but also probably advising them.
Oh, I was life coaching people well before I got to training. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to make that clear for our audience, because sometimes I don't think that people make that correlation. Matter of fact, there was one of my good friends, I'll put a link right up here, to Paul Lorenz. Paul Lorenz is a architect, artist, and musician, and he combines all of it together. It was interesting whenever I interviewed him. We did it, and I correlated it to business as well. Well, that was heard by a museum curator, and he actually got a solo show because of the interview that I did and how we correlated the arts to business. Isn't so? Wonderful. So very interesting. Yeah. So, but yes, for those outside of the arts industry, I just really wanted to kind of expound upon that so that they could maybe really go, oh, I never thought of it like that. So,
well, I mean, the truth is that it's really all about mindset. I mean, before mindset became the word that everybody throws around, that's what I was doing. Mm-hmm. with my students. Mm-hmm. Mindset. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. a lot of the business coaching that I do is about mindset, because they have to change their mindset in order to be successful in the business and move forward, because people get stuck. I've gotten stuck. I didn't know what to do at certain points in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, you need to change your mindset. And that's hard to do for some people.
Understand. So that's a great segue into talking more about your more recent work in business coaching. So if you could give us kind of a good overview of what you do when you're working with a client.
Okay, so I have been working with a parent company since August of last year as a business coach, and we have an incredible amount of resources and everything that we are given to be able to be better business coaches. And I struggled for a while with trying to figure out what niche market I really wanted to work in. But of course, at the same time that I opened that business, that particular business, I got the diagnosis of a serious medical issue. And so that kind of threw everything into the maelstrom of life as well.
Right.
But when I finally woke up, it's one of those things that I really believe very much in divine intervention. And it was one of those things where I woke up in the middle of the night. This was quite a few months ago. And I went, oh my God, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be helping people get their exit strategies for their businesses in preparation for the possible sudden personal and medical issues that may arise in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And the stories that I've heard from people as well about what they lost by not having an exit strategy is just heartbreaking. One woman, she had to go help her mother, had to close her business. It wasn't valued at very much to begin with. And so she lost everything she'd worked for all her life to try to have this business.
Mm.
And that just breaks your heart, because she didn't plan an exit and she probably didn't think about it, at any point, because obviously, we're all going to live forever, right?
Oh, well, yes, absolutely.
Nothing's ever going to happen that's going to mess you up. So from personal experience, I understand what can happen and how it can devastate you when personal and medical issues arise suddenly and you need to get out. So that's my focus.
Okay. And of course, there could be, there's lots of, as we'll go through with the clients, there's lots of reasons for exit strategies. So for clarity, again, for our audiences, an exit strategy is simply making sure that you have everything in place, all the legal documents done, all the policies in place, so that if you come up to a situation where you can, perhaps if needed, get a broker, business broker, just like a real estate broker, to help you sell your company, or you sell it on your own, or, something, but that you have something in place so that you're just not simply fire selling all of your equipment and closing the doors. Okay.
That's what I had to do because I was forced to.
Mm.
I had no choice. And so, yeah, there's many different ways to do it. There's liquidation. You can turn it over to your family if they've been in the business. But even if they've been in the business, are your policies and procedures clear so that they can actually keep that smooth transition? In talking to a recent business owner recently, he said that he was turning it over to his family, his sons, and he was going to live off the residuals. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay. And I said, well, how are you going to do that? And he said, well, I'm really lacking. I really want more teams. I only have one team of people right now, and I really would like to have two or three. And I said, well, yeah, then of course you'd make more money and the valuation of your business would go up, and therefore you'd live more comfortably in your retirement or whatever it is you plan to do. And, it was like talking to the brick wall. He just didn't see it. He had it in his mind, this is what I'm doing. And, devil, what is it called? Devil may care type thing attitude. So it is more, when you start the business, that's when you should be looking at an exit strategy. Now, I mean, that sounds crazy because, if you're in your 20s and you start a business, of course, nothing's going to happen to you. And why should I think about an exit strategy now? Well, you know what? Look at what happened in the pandemic to a lot of business.
Yes. And it could be totally natural. Something comes up, again, like COVID, you just mentioned. Huge number of businesses has been put out, have had to close their doors.
And I'm willing to bet you that most of them didn't have exit strategy.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you there. Pretty sure.
There are statistics that say, different statistics, which you can't really follow, but 58% to anywhere to like 83% of business owners do not have an exit strategy. I mean, that's, even if it's just 58%, that's a large amount.
Yeah, I would tend to, based on who people I've talked with. I mean, I've not necessarily asked this particular question, but I will start asking it. And if need be, then helping to refer folks over to you. But, when people are starting a business, because most of the businesses are small, they're coffee shops, they're delis and so forth. And, even just being clear, part of an exit strategy, is ensuring that you have everything documented correctly. If you bake cupcakes as a business, are your recipes clearly written out so anyone can follow it and replicate it, right? Now, those recipes may be locked in a vault if they're your secret recipes, but you still, if you want it to survive, and then that becomes essentially also your intellectual properties, not just a recipe, folks. So also just thinking about when you are, at least at some point, maybe not when you're initially starting, but once you hit a certain rate of, earning, once you're at what is, kind of your comfort level, you're no longer, struggling to get clients. You're no longer struggling to get customers in the door. Okay. Once you become at that comfort level, that's when you really need to start having, most definitely, having an exit strategy. And only because and maybe before, but you can hope you then have the funds to dedicate to, if you need to do more things, if you need more legal services, you hope, chuck out some time out of each week to work on aspects of it. And so what are some of the kind of aspects that when you're talking with a client, what are the kinds of questions? Because you showed me an application that your company uses, and it had a whole bunch of questions. Are there any that you would like to maybe talk about today?
Well, yes, absolutely. So I just did a webinar this past Tuesday on exit strategy. And one of the things that people need to understand is that there has to be a process of developing that exit strategy. And the first step is that you want to make sure that your profits are going to increase the valuation of your business. You want to get that business up, and you want to increase the value of the business by increasing profits and income, revenue. So our profit acceleration software that I use goes through a series of questions about market dominating position, cutting costs, leads, conversions, joint ventures, and and a list of at least 12 areas, and which can be subdivided into a deep dive of 40, can really be narrowed down even more. And so, including policies and procedure, we have to take a look at all that. The other thing is that I'm developing, and have most of it together, a team of people that we can refer you to take a look at and assess the insurance of your business, the insurance of your private health insurance, your group health insurance, mergers and acquisitions advisor, social media marketing. I have a team of people that I rely on to assist in developing this business increase and valuation. And so it starts with the profit acceleration software, and then we go from there. We say, okay, well, let's see what we're going to do. But we want to assess every single aspect of your business to make sure everything is in place for a smooth transition, as you indicated.
Gotcha. So that software, as I saw, is, yes, it's software, it's online, but it's really kind of a template of all the questions that any business should answer. And what I like about this is that, again, so many times, entrepreneurs, we have to wear so many hats, especially if you're just one or two, people starting the company. And there's so many hats, and you work on stuff, like myself. I work 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so, I work on what needs to be done to keep everything, going. And I try to work on, the new things that move me forward, increase my brand, increase my features and functions for my users, but at the end of the day, what else? I'm only one person. So, taking a tool like that, I'm sure that even in OutBüro, that there would be lots of areas where I have room for improvement. But again, I'm only one person right now. So how much can I do? Blah, blah, blah. But having a coach to then help guide you and help prioritize. Okay, well, let's say out of the whole list, you really need to work on 70% of it. Oh, that's a lot, but prioritizing it based on the experience.
That's the beauty of this software, is that we take everything that we would have just answered, and we prioritize, and then we create an implementation program for that, and we give you a roadmap, and we give you a complete report. I mean, it covers so many things that businesses can definitely use. Yeah, I could do it for you.
Well, I know a lot of my areas right now. I'm hopefully onboarding a new business development person here. What's my afternoon call? Has there been any, kind of either success or oh my God moments so far in working with people? I mean, you did share earlier that one person who lost her whole business because she had to go care for a loved one, which due to COVID and due to also just the general aging of the population, there's, I forget the stat, but there's, based on the population, there's going to be like more people over a certain age than ever before.
Oh, absolutely. All the boomers.
Yes. And, so in that too, I'll also pop a card up again over here, new episode about 3 or 4 weeks ago, out for Extend a Touch, extendatoutch.com. They're a platform for caregivers of any kind, whether it's childcare, family member, etc. But it's this anonymous support network, and just wanted to give them a shout out since we happened to bring that up. So very cool. So is there any kind of, have you had any, whether yourself or through your network of other business coaches in the head company, Has there been any like, kind of like OMG stories or really great
Oh,
success stories?
they're constant. We have a private Facebook group that we can post on, and we can look at look at posts, and there's incredible things that happen. The problem, and I'm going to be quite honest and frank about this, the problem with business coaches and people hiring business coaches is that they may have hired one before and they got burned, or they didn't get what was promised to be delivered. And that is a big problem. Well, you know what? It's a big problem in a lot of things, but in a lot of different businesses, you're promised to go have this wonderful ice cream treat, and it's really awful. I mean, honestly, or this is the best steak around, and you go in and it's like the worst steak around. I've had that experience with Outback Steakhouse. I have never gotten a steak that was cooked correctly ever. So, those kinds of things, as far as success stories are concerned, yes. One of the things people that I am working with, and I do have to say this because I think we talked about it at the beginning a little bit, is about mindset. And so this man wanted to start a new business, and he's a coach. A coach needs a coach. I have like 5 of them. I have 5 coaches, So everybody needs a coach, and I can ask any one of them anything at any time. So the biggest thing that I had to deal with him, and I'm still dealing with him 4 months later in his business, is his mindset. I can't tell you how important it is to understand yourself when it comes to your business.
Sure.
If you don't know who you are, how are you going to sell anything? Yeah, business might be successful. You want to go to the next level, and then the next level, and then the next level? Well, let's talk about that. What's going on? What's blocking you from getting there? What's stopping you? Because we're going to talk about that. And I'm a tough coach. So I'm going to ask tough questions, and I'm going to hold you to it.
Mm-hmm.
You say you're going to do something. Okay, I'm going to hold you to it. Next week when I see you, you better be answering me with what whatever task that I assigned. Better be doing it. So yeah, I'm a tough coach, but why not? Is it years ago when we were training coaching? It was like you would ask the client how they wanted to be coached. Do you want me to be soft and gentle? Do you want? Oh, no. That's right. That's like parenting. Right. I'm not going to parent anybody.
Absolutely. I totally, I can totally appreciate that. And, like if I were going to be bringing in a business partner, I'm not hand-holding you. You better come with skills. You better come with connections and skills and learn the business quickly and take the heck off, because I'm nobody's nanny.
No, I'm not anybody's daddy.
Exactly.
Even though I get called that all the time.
Too funny. Well, cool. So where I know we're going to have links down in the show notes for your, websites and all of that, social media, and of course an OutBüro profile. But what is there anything that you would like to chat about more?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the things, a little side business that I'm starting is on webinar presentation to help people present themselves better in a webinar. I attended a very well-known person's webinar a few weeks ago, and I sat there almost like this the whole time. I could not understand what he was talking about. He kept flipping screens back and forth. He was off topic all the time. I actually couldn't tell you right now what the topic was for that webinar.
Oh my goodness.
And then the next day I had attended another webinar, much worse. So because I'm an actor and a singer and a performer, I can help people in their webinars. I can help them with their presentations. And again, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna be like holding your hand through it and like, oh, it's okay, honey.
Yeah. Well, and it's really not that difficult. I always have lights myself at 2 and 11. I think they take about 5 to 10 years off. So, got to smooth it all out as best as possible. And, you got to start with what you have. Like I've had to upgrade to not like a, photography camera, but at least, it's like a $50 external camera that gets much better quality than my laptop. And actually, recently, I was able to invest in a mic. And for those folks out there, I'm sure you've heard of the Yetis and all of that. Well,
That's what I have.
yeah, well, this is as good as a Yeti. It has everything that the Yeti has, but it's almost half the cost. It's called Fifine, Fifine. And it's just like their large one. It has the 4 pickup patterns and everything else. And then I was watching one of my YouTubers that I watch for political news. He's also fairly cute. Not exactly my type, but he's still cute. And then I saw how he was doing these. So now I have the over-the-ear monitors that go down my shirt and then plug into my microphone. And on this thing, I have the gain completely down. The gain is for those listening is what the microphone amplifies the voice. And so if I turn this all the way up, I mean, you would hear an ant fart. I mean, it is like really sensitive. So so this has been part of my upping my game because but so I can appreciate because I've seen bad videos and bad interviews and so forth as well. But you got to start with what you got because that's part of my thing.
Absolutely, but that doesn't mean that no matter how little the equipment, it doesn't mean that you still are going to be. Hi everybody. It's nice to see you today.
Yeah, no, I hear you. You got to bring it. As I sometimes tell people, be yourself, but about 10% more.
So true.
And especially for those introverted people. I'm not. I am in certain situations.
I'm not either.
I am in
certain. Stand up in front of hundreds of people and sing and perform and be introverted. It doesn't work out too well.
No, it sure doesn't. And too, when it kind of getting back to kind of the business topic and how that kind of plays into it, so much of your content, so much about your business could be online with your social media. You could do these, short videos, even if it's just using your smartphone and doing short, 1 to 3 minute, product reviews or talking about your product, doing shots in your store if you're a coffee shop or if you're some kind of business, or let's say you're a realtor, of course then you got lots of things, or maybe you're a law firm. You could have little short interview clips with all of your staff. So because of course Google owns YouTube, but YouTube is the second largest search engine. And who doesn't go to YouTube to look up, review videos or how-to videos?
How-to mostly, yeah.
Or hot guy working out videos. I think about having a 6-pack, so I'll go look at videos about it to try to inspire me. Okay. But yeah, it's not that difficult. But there's that. My saying is that magic and miracles happen when you believe and you take action, and it's just believing in yourself, having the I guess the comfort to quickly get on your camera. And if you're not, then always have the camera facing away, always doing.
The other thing is, and this is something that I think people need to understand. If you don't think your presence on camera is good, and you are not happy with your presentation and you really feel like you can't change, but you still want to do videos or webinars, hire someone to do it or find someone to do it for you.
Yeah, it could be it could be a family member, a friend, someone, it doesn't have to necessarily cost money. It might just cost you pizza. Uh,
Exactly.
but have a plan, especially if you're going to be using someone else. If you want to have 50 short little videos done, and I'm putting a big number out there because that's like one a week to, put out. Of course, you should be doing more. But yeah, let's just, put a plan. Oh, we're going to show, and oh my God, there's, you need to go onto outbureau.com and check out the foodies group. I post videos there of really great cooks and so forth. And there's this one I have not yet shared on outbureau.com in the Out Foodie group. I need to. You never see occasionally you'll see the guy's face, but he's a cook and he does it so artfully. The editing, the shots and the editing, I mean, it's very artful.
Yeah.
And but yeah, there's people all on YouTube that do really, very simple stuff, but they're consistent. And that's one thing for small businesses if you want to really grow. And look at how, getting back to the pandemic, how it's closed businesses. And the reason why most of those businesses closed is because they didn't pivot. And they didn't have the infrastructure to pivot, meaning the infrastructure of, they didn't already have, let's say it's a restaurant, they didn't already have in place strong relationships with delivery services. You don't have to hire your own delivery people, folks. There's tons of them out there, from Uber Eats to, oh gosh, I can't think of a few off the top of my head. Yeah, Grubhub. There's several.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having their menu all online, having great photos of their food, so that not just the listing. Don't just tell me you have, pad thai. Show me a picture that makes my mouth water, so I want to click order. Right? It's those kinds of things that companies, if they don't think about, an exit strategy is more than just an exit. It's planning and preparing your business to be its best, to increase its profitability and profits, so that if you do want to sell your business, you get the most money for it, and or can live off the proceeds if it goes to family members, etc. I mean, and if you're a tech, you also need to have all of those things in line if you want to go and look very attractive for any kind of venture capital or angel investor, seed investor, or even a bank loan, right? I mean, if you're whatever age and you walk into a bank, oh, well, I've incorporated and I'm going to do this. Oh, well, let's see your business plan. Let's see your marketing plan. Let's see your revenue. Let's see, they're going to ask a lot of questions before they turn over that X number amount of dollars to you, right?
That's absolutely true. Yes.
So going through this is, I like your focus or your target of saying, okay, this is kind of my prism, my lens of looking at the exit strategy, but it's still looking at all of those other things. And it's just so happened that, you're kind of marketing it as a exit strategy planning, but it's really the foundation of a healthy business.
It's a multifaceted approach.
Yeah.
Really.
So I like that. So we're definitely going to be having links for our audience down in the show notes on whatever application or site that you're listening to this. And as well as, of course, would love to have all of you listening come and join us on OutBureau.com. Our largest group on OutBureau.com is Business Owners Group. Now, OutBureau.com is like Glassdoor.com and LinkedIn, met at a summer pool party, fell in love, and had a queer baby. So you're able to connect with other professionals, directly connect, just like you would similar to on LinkedIn or Facebook. You send them an invite to connect with you. And then after that, you're able to direct message them, similar to other platforms. So you can do all of that right there. And the profiles are professionally oriented. So come check out outbureau.com today. There's lots of content and we're just missing you. Well, I so much appreciate our dialogue today. It was very enlightening, and I hope people in our audience, and I tell you what, for a question for folks in our audience, number one, are you a business owner? And number two, do you have currently an exit plan? Give us a yes, no. Let us know if you have an exit plan or not. And then has this been informative for you? Is it starting to make you think about having an exit plan and getting a little bit deeper into developing your business? We'd love to hear your comments. So go ahead right down below on YouTube or right here on outbureau.com or any of the 15 podcasting apps. Give us your information, please. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. Well, thank you, Stephen. I so much appreciate having you on today.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right. Well, again,
I'd like to talk.
Oh, great. Again, thank you everyone for staying tuned to this episode of OutBüro Voices. You've been listening to Stephen Crawford, a business and exit strategy coach who's able to help you grow your business, be more profitable, and be prepared for no matter what. I'm Dennis Velco, your host. Again, join us on outbureau.com. That's outburo.com. You'd have to give me a few vocal lessons, but I try. Okay, now, folks, you have a great rest of your day and week. And again, give us comments down below about if you're a business owner and if you have an exit strategy in place. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.